and Admiral's journey. Hello One Piece enthusiasts, I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about the Admiral's journey throughout the story of One Piece and where it leads them. So this thing first showed up when I think Mr. Morge made a video on Kizaru on how Kizaru is basically a cog in the machine. He realizes that he is a cog in the machine who serves no specific purpose. He does not believe in absolute justice. It hurts for him to do a lot of things that the world government orders him to do, but he has to do it anyways because he's just a part of the entire grand scheme. With all of that being said, I feel like each and every single one of the admirals we've seen thus far have some sort of a conflict or dilemma that makes them want to change, a part of them want to change from that. And so I wanted to observe each and every admiral and sort of see where everything goes. Before we move on, make sure to like and subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. Now that you have, let's begin. We will start first with Kizaru, of course. We've already talked about it, Mr. Morge talked about it in details. But what I have to say about this is Kizaru at first we thought was this very easygoing, lazy guy who had an insanely strong fruit, who really didn't care much about what the world government did. He just did what he was ordered, not thinking much about it. We haven't really got to see much of an emotion from Kizaru up until now when he had to face off against Sentomaru and of course Vegapunk, two of them being his two oldest friends. So now that we've finally seen him facing his own dilemma, what he does in order to uphold justice for the world government, he basically says that, yeah, I have to do what I was told and I will do it. If it means hurting my friends, I shall do that. But at the end of the day, he is still human. He still has a mind of his own. He is not like CP0 where he's lost his entire will. He still has his will to live. He still has his will to fight back certain orders. And that's exactly how he let Sentomaru live out sort of normally, and we see that he's not giving it his best shot when it comes to taking down Vegapunk. He's trying to find a way in which this could all be solved without much of a conflict. But at the same time, like, even if he ends up killing Vegapunk, part of him will be sad, part of him will be dissatisfied with what he has done because he has connections, he has feelings towards these people who is hurting right now. So all he says is that he's a cog in the machine, and I think now he already knew that he was a cog in the machine when he entered the world government, and we realized he couldn't do much to change the world. But with Luffy being there, with someone actually changing things for him, I feel like this is an arc where he gets to see that no, there's still hope left, and Luffy would be the one who would bring about justice, and maybe the world government isn't always right, and maybe there is a possibility of change. With that being said, let's talk about Kuzan. For Kuzan, he literally just figured it out by himself. After the incident of Ohara, after fighting with Akainu, he knew what he was dealing with. After the incident of specifically Ohara, where he had to hurt his friend's soul, probably with the intention to kill, he saw that the world government did very corrupted things, which made absolutely no sense, but he had to do it because he's a part of the Marines and he has to follow orders. From where he's had this sense of entirely different justice, where he let Nico Robin live in order to see a bright future, and ultimately what ended up happening was that he ended up leaving the Marines, trying to seek justice for himself, trying to see the truth for himself. And of course he didn't end up on the best side, which is the Blackbeard Pirates, but he did change his side nonetheless, and I still think that he has a lot to figure out. We haven't figured out the in-depths of what Kuzan is thinking or what his motives are, but I feel like he still has a lot of himself to discover, especially when it comes to finding the truth about the world and how justice could be served properly. And I think once Luffy fights off against Blackbeard and Luffy actually becomes victorious, he becomes the king of the pirates and actually serves justice the way it was supposed to be served. I feel like Kuzan would be on the better side of justice. He's already on his way. With Fujitora, well, we've already seen what he could do. We've already seen what he wants. he blinded himself because of what the corruption he's seen in the world government. No, sorry, the corruption he saw in the world. He blinded himself so that he couldn't see any more of that. With seeing Luffy, he has hopes. He has hopes of, you know, people actually being good. He actually thinks that, yeah, people can be good just like Luffy. Pirates can be good, and the world government isn't always right. And I feel like, yeah, that's his journey. His journey was basically to understand that, yeah, pirates do bad things. I don't want to see any of that. He's basically the same version of Akainu, but with more of an open mind, which led him to, you know, come to the realization that Luffy is a good person, and the world government really isn't all that, you know, justice-serving thing that they were built to be. Finally, I mean, what could lead up to this point, we've all speculating thus far, is that Fujitora will be switching sides at the end of the war. He probably won't be on the side of the world government with the way things are, and, well, it's entirely possible that he jumps the board. He jumps the board the same way I think Whitebeard jumped the board on the Rocks Pirates, on the Hachinosu incident, God Valley incident. So, like, I'm just saying, because this is what I've been shown thus far. I don't really see Fujitora fighting against Straw Hats. So that's his journey for what I could see. And finally we have Green Bull. I don't really think much about Green Bull. Green Bull is basically what Akainu is, but with less of a power. I'm not really gonna say much about him because we don't know much. But let's just talk about Akainu. Akainu is that one person who doesn't have an open mind, who doesn't care about, you know, who has no affiliation with anyone in this world, for we've seen thus far, who doesn't care about any lives being sacrificed for the sake of justice, and his entire being is the revolution of, or the idea of, absolute justice, where justice in the eyes of the world government has to be served regardless of the sacrifices. We've seen what he did in Ohara, we've seen what he did in Marineford, and we're seeing what he can do right now. He does not care about sacrifices, does not care about allies or foes. If it has to do anything with serving justice for the world government, where pirates or criminals in his eyes are punished, he will do just that. He is basically having the power of Kizaru even stronger, with that non-open mindset that most of the admirals had, and he completely believes in what he thinks. So I would like to believe that he is that one person, he's that one admiral that no one can ever change. This is a guy that cannot be changed, but no matter what, because his minds are shut. He does not care, he does not want to see a change, he does not think that this is wrong. And of course, when you're blinded by your own foolishness, there is no one in this world that can change you but yourself. In this case, I could just imagine Akainu just living the way he is and dying to protect what he thinks justice is. That's it for the analysis of all the admirals. This is just me putting out ideas because, you know, these things are sort of fun to talk about. Like, you know, where this can be headed, the philosophy of each of the admirals. The admirals represent different versions of what you might call coming to the realization that the world government isn't that true. And the one person exception to that is Akainu. That's it for the video, guys. I don't know what it was about. It was just me talking about admirals and their future of the story and how they changed how they might change their mindset, or how they have changed their mindset. And that's it. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.